Welcome back, guys. In this video, I'm going to talk about Power Query. I'm going to talk about what is Power Query, how you can use it to save time and make data analysis a lot faster and easier. So let's get right into it. So if you haven't ever used Power Query, it's basically, it used to be an add-on in Excel, but now they've basically integrated it into the data tab of Excel. So basically this entire section, the one that says get and transform data, this is the Power Query command box, basically. So you can use Power Query to analyze and transform data from a bunch of different sources. For example, it could be text or CSV. It could be from a website. It could be from a table. And we have a lot more other options in here. But if you want to do the transformation from an Excel workbook, then you have the option in here. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you have your source file in a certain location. So I'm going to explain to you guys how this works. So say you have a data like this. It's basically a long list of data that you want to analyze, which looks in this format. Say you get this type of data, this exact same format every week at your job, and you want to do transformation to this data and send it out to another department. What you don't want to do is do the exact same transformation every time that you get this data from whichever source you're getting it from. So what you can do is you can utilize Power Query to do that transformation for you with just a click of a button once you do it the first time. So that's basically the idea of it. And so, for example, let's say you get this data every week. Say this is a new week. All you have to do is get the new data with the same file name and same file format, which includes the order of the columns, the name of the columns, and the format of the content within those columns. For example, if your file comes in, if you've made your Power Query in a format which the first column is file name, then it's date, it's time, car number, axle number, SD, and SH. Say 1 week you get a source file, a file like this that you want to do analysis, or you want to transform it into a format that you want to transform it into, and it has, for example, axle number in the first column, then your Power Query will give you an error. So what you want to make sure is the file name, the column names, the column format, and the column order is exactly the same every time. That's how Power Query will basically save you time on transforming the data. Now, so what you want to do is you want to start a new Excel sheet, and you want to go to get data, and in this case we want to transform data from a Excel workbook. So you go to our Excel workbook, which is this one. You double click on it, and you'll get a window as such. Now, you want to click in here, and before you want to load the data, you want to transform the data. So you're going to click on this one, or you can double click on the file itself. I click here, transform data, and you're going to get a new window. This is called the Power Query Editor. Basically, you can do the transformations in this window, and then you will close and load it to the new Excel sheet that you grabbed the source file from. Sorry. So in this Power Query Editor window, I'm going to explain to you guys a bunch of commands that are very useful. Now, if you guys have any specific questions, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer it for you guys. But you can go through these and you can play with them and basically learn them by yourself. But I'm going to give you a general overview of how this can be used. So, for example, you're getting this data and it has this, for example, column that what you want to extract from this column is, for example, if you can see, these are the axle numbers, for example, one open, one close. So you want to extract only the O and C from these columns. So instead of doing that every time you get the data, what you can do is do it once through Power Query, and every time you get it, it will do that edit for you by just click of a button, like I mentioned before. So how you can do that is you go into Transform, and you're going to split column by. So there's a bunch of commands here. What you can do is you can split it by a number of characters. You can do it by delimiter, by position, lowercase, uppercase, and a bunch of other stuff. So let's go through the easiest route, which is by delimiter. Once you do click that, you're going to select your delimiter. So every time that Excel encounters a dash in this column, it will separate that as a separate column. And you're going to do it from, you can do it at each occurrence. And click OK. Now, as you can see, we've separated it. Now, we don't need these columns. What you can do is just click on the heading and press delete. And same for this one. We don't need this. We don't need this. And we only need the 1O, 1C. You can do the same thing again. You can split by number of characters this time. So we want 2 character and then separate the column. Now, as you can see, we have separated by the first 2 characters, and every time it encounters 2 characters, it'll separate it. So we will delete this column and this column. As you can see on the right here, this is the applied step. So every time you add a column, you do any kind of change, basically anything that has been done to the original file, it is recorded here. You can remove them. You can rearrange the order to which these edits are applied into the source file. For example, let's say I want the 2 columns that I deleted, I want them back. So you just go under applied steps. You click you delete the applied step that was remove column. Now you have the columns back, as you can see here. Now what you're going to do is you can also select multiple files. So click on the heading of this column and then hold Control, press on the heading of this column, and then you can press delete. As you can see here, it says remove columns. So these are the things. For example, we want to change this to open/close column. Let's call it that. And then let's say you want to, I don't know what we can do. We can round it up. And same for this one. We can round it up. And we can, for example, we can do this. We can name it A, and we can name this B. So as you can see here, we've applied a bunch of steps here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to close and load this data into the Excel file that we initially started. Now, as you can see here, the file has been transformed into the a format that you made a bunch of steps, you made a bunch of edits to. So as a reference, I'm going to show you the reference file here. So as you can see, this is what we had, and this is what we have right now. And you can export, you can copy this, you can do whatever you want with this data. And there's a bunch of other steps that you can apply to the source file to make it exactly how you want to, how you want the end data to look like. For example, we have a bunch of unnecessary decimal places. We've removed that. We've extracted the 101C from this column, and we deleted the other stuff, and so on. So you get the idea. Now, you're going to save this as transformed data. It didn't. So what we're going to do is save a copy, browse location, documents, transform data, save. Okay. So now, as you can see here, we have two separate Excel files. One is a source file, and one is the transformed file. So now, with this in mind, you've made your job a lot easier. For example, let's say you get a new set of data. It doesn't matter. For example, let's open this one back again, and I'll show you guys. So this entire Excel sheet has what, like 243 rows. This could be 1,000. This could be whatever. It does not matter. What it matters is the format of the file. So even if it has 1,000 rows, it will apply this exact same steps to it. So the number of rows does not really matter. The only thing that matters is the format of the source file, like I mentioned before. So this is basically an overview of what Power Query can do. If you guys have any further questions, please let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.